There we go. Welcome back. You are on PBA FM 89.7 with me, Zofia, here with you till 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we had a few tracks in there. Kate, Short Skirt, Long Jacket. Old Coldplay was in there with Vida La Vida. And we had Billy Joel with a Big Shot. It is 20 minutes to 2 o'clock. And I have two fantastic guests in the studio with me this afternoon. And I'm going to introduce them to you now. We have Sam, percussionist. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It's great. Speak up into the mic. And we've got Waylon Scott. So how are you, Waylon?
I'm doing good, thank you. It's good to be back here at PBA
Yeah.
Joining you once again, Zofia.
We've had a chat before. Now, tell us a little bit about what you're here for. What have you been up to since I spoke to you last?
Well, since we last spoke, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. I sort of went into reclusive mode a little bit because of I lost my father.
Yes,
he passed away,
I remember.
and
yes.
it's been a bit of a tough transition to going from looking after him
Yes.
full time,
Yes.
and then and now just sort of living by myself and.
Yeah.
And gone back into the work industry, so
Mhm.
I'm back in working in pubs and hospitality. So,
Yes.
and that's been good. It's been good. It's kept me
Yeah.
busy. So, but I've only just recently started to get back into the music side of things. So, I suppose this would be the first date that sort of sets off. Hopefully, good things to come.
Yeah, and have you, in that hiatus that you've had, have you written some, stuff that's come to you,
I have.
through everything that's happened?
I spent a lot of time going back over some of the old writings that I've put together a while back, and unfinished work, and
Yeah.
gone and reassessed it and finished some of those off. So we've got a few new songs here that hopefully will impress your listeners.
Yeah, and will you record them and put them any onto a CD?
I plan to do that.
Yeah.
I'm in discussions with a couple of people at the moment in order to get a full EP together.
Nice.
It has been hard. I've been meaning to do that for a long time now,
Yeah.
but it is an expensive process.
It is. That's half the battle, isn't it?
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I don't know. But musicians are generally forever broke, so I don't
Yes.
know where all the other musicians actually are able to afford to put these
Yeah.
together. But I suppose they make some sacrifices and
Yes.
put everything in it, and I suppose that's investing in yourself, and which is something I've got to do myself. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
It is very difficult, and you need somebody that's going to be beside you. That's knows how you want things. And,
Yeah, that's right.
because you've got your own way of doing
Well, that's
things.
right. Like, I mean, you as a musician, you've got your own picture in your head on what you want your song or each individual
how
song
your
to sound like.
product, yes.
But that sometimes can be a bit of a curse sometimes too, because then you forget to listen to other input around you and other suggestions, which, I mean, I'm all for. I love getting with and collaborating with other musicians, and they're putting their own signature in it. Whereas some singer-songwriters like to, they have that sound and that picture in their head and what they want. So when they get a group of musicians together, they spell it out. This is what I want. This is what. Whereas I'm more of a, I like to keep it free for whoever you're collaborating with to do their thing, and because it gives the song a different life, and it's it gives a chance for it to be a little bit more epic than what you know.
Yeah. Because when you're doing it like you are, kind of acoustically,
Yep.
and you've got Sam here to back you up, on percussion.
Yep.
But when you're in the studio and you want to make an EP or like a CD, put a few songs together, you've got to have a backing. The backing band makes
That's
a
right.
big difference to you, the music and how it comes out.
It does. It gives a bit more depth, a bit more body
Absolutely,
to
it does.
and
That's right.
and you've got to be well aware as well that that not to do too much or put too much to it, because you put too much to it, it can come across as a bit white noise or too busy,
Yes.
so to speak. Like
So this is where good production comes in, doesn't
exactly,
it? Yes.
exactly. And it is hard to find the right people to be on that same wavelength and want to see you achieve what you have in your mind.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. But it's something that I'll be looking forward to getting back into and trying out. The recording process is not something that I'm too familiar with. I've done a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's an exciting venture in itself.
Yeah,
I think,
it would
so.
be for you, I think,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be good for you to give it a go and see how it comes out for you, rather
Yeah.
than because doing it, you know, lots of people can sit there with a guitar and sing along, go to a hotel or
Yeah.
anywhere and sing, you know, but getting that big band sound
Yeah,
is
yeah.
completely different.
And with the few songs that I have been able to put other musicians and record with, it's amazing because listening to it back, it blows my mind. I even though the songs come from me, like
Yes, yeah.
I pick up on things differently every time I listen to it. I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's yeah, that's the cool thing about it is the song taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, and I know a lot of musicians are critical of their own work. You know,
Oh, we're all we're very
Yeah.
self-critical of everything like
Yeah.
that. I don't think there's one song or one performance or anything that I can look at and be happy with 100%. You
It's
know.
so funny because a lot of them say I could have done better on that particular, and I'm talking to people who have been in the business for a long time, like you
Yeah.
know Leo Sayer and Russell Morris, and they've been in the game for, and they always say to me, you know, and I could have done that a bit better, and
Yeah.
Ross Wilson said, well, I could have done that a bit. It's
Yeah.
just strange when they listen back and think.
Well, that's strange to hear
Yeah.
that because here, like Ross Wilson, for example, like you hear some of the stuff that I think it's great stuff,
Yeah,
like you know,
but-
and I couldn't picture it being any better than
Yeah,
what it already
yeah.
is, you know. So
And that's one of the perks of studio, being in
Yeah.
a studio.
and Leo Sayer, you touch on the subject of him. That man is one talented dude.
Yes,
like
I know.
I've seen when I first heard of him, I think of disco back,
Yeah,
back in the older
exactly.
days.
Yes.
But I've seen him a few years back at a festival at Mount
Yeah,
Remarkable.
yeah.
And he was doing some bluesy stuff. He was
Yes,
doing
yes.
and the energy he has on stage
Yeah.
is unbelievable for an
Yeah.
old fella. Like
Yeah,
he can put a lot of the young fellas to
Yeah.
shame, I reckon.
Yeah,
Mm.
he used to do record covers. He used to, you know, draw the covers for records
Yeah.
back in the 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah,
but as I say, everybody's got their own way of doing things, and I say I've spoken to lots of up and coming artists like yourself, and
Yeah.
they're critical of themselves. They say, look, I've done this. I listen back. I could have, but it works out for them in the end. And you've got to, as you say, you've got to push yourself, because
Yeah.
if you can't do that, it's not going to happen. You
yeah.
know. But
That's
you've got
right.
to get out on YouTube.
Yes.
You know, that's the big thing. I was talking to Gavin Wood from
Yep.
Countdown.
Yep.
You remember? I don't know if you remember
I
Gavin. He did the
know
voiceover
him.
from Countdown.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said to me when he was in he was in America, and he's got a mate that runs the whole establishment there, music place, and they're all sitting there in cubicles, all these people with behind glass. And he said to his mate, "What are they all doing?" And he said they are all on YouTube,
Yeah.
and they're looking for the next Justin Bieber.
Is that right?
He said, tell any up and coming musician, put your stuff out on YouTube,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it is getting looked at all of the time.
Well, I didn't know that the people are like sort of scouting out
They
on
do.
social media stuff
And I'm telling you
YouTube
that straight from the horse's mouth, and that's what he told me to
Yeah.
tell up and coming people.
Well, I'm going to make a note of that, and I'm going to put more effort into
Because
when it comes to
that's
YouTube
That's
videos.
their job. That's what they do all day.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind a job like that.
Yeah. So there you go. But you're going to sing some live stuff for us. So
Yes, yeah. So again, touching base with some of the old songs, and that I've written that I haven't really performed before, and finishing them off. Well, the first song I'm going to play, it's an older one. I haven't played it on this station before.
Yeah.
It's a song called "News for You." Like I said, we've got Sam here. That's
Yes,
going to
we
be
have Sam on
back at me,
percussion.
and he's at a disadvantage at the moment. We've only just met a couple of weeks ago.
I
Yeah,
just found that out.
pretty much met on stage or just before going on
Yes,
stage.
Yes, he
so
was saying, yeah.
yeah, but he's good at what he does,
I
so
was
it
just
makes
going
me
to say
sound good.
that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would have liked to have Tim on bass join us this afternoon, but unfortunately he's got some other obligations, so
Yeah.
he couldn't make it. But so it's just me and you, Sam.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
let's go with it, boys.
Okay, this song's called "News for You." Woke up this morning, couldn't believe my eyes when I had read a piece of paper sitting on the chest of drawers in my bed. take it off, I shut you down, you'll never forget all the bad things they've done, we'll never do again. One thing I know is I no longer have to pretend everything's alright for your peace of mind around your friends. Your friends I've got using you, but I'm not fighting you, 'cause you're not worth the blood on my shoes, on my shoes, on my shoes, yeah. There you go, too bad.
Excellent. That was really, really great.
Thank you.
So what was that one called?
News for you.
News for you. Excellent. You've got to get these down,
Yes.
Waylon, into, you know.
I've actually got to remember what the names of most of my songs are called. I
Oh,
forget.
dear.
Like I'll write the songs and I always forget to put in a title for them. So, and then I get stuck in moments like these when they go, "So what was that song called?" And I'm like, yeah.
So, you know, does writing the songs come easily to you? Was it, you know, like it comes from experiences and all sorts of things, doesn't it?
It does. I would like to say, yeah, it does come easy, but it doesn't. I went through a stage there where I was pumping them out. It was,
Mhm.
yeah, and they just seemed to come quite easy.
Yep.
I think the more I've got, the more experienced I've become at writing songs and playing music and guitar, because I didn't get into it till late in life.
Yeah.
So, I think, what do they say, ignorance is bliss sometimes, and you just write things like, and it seems to come out. But now I've put a little bit more thought into the structure and everything like that to a song. So with that in mind, I probably overthink it, and then I find it a lot harder sometimes to find it out. I mean, there's topics and subjects to write about.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of those.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
I've got so many stories and stuff like that I can
Mhm.
write about, and experiences. But it's just structuring it into a way, because you don't want all your music to sound the same.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because when you do bring out, you know, your EP or, you know, how would you pick what songs would go on it? You know, because
That's
as
a
you
very good
say,
question.
yeah,
That is a very good question. It's something that I haven't had the luxury to be able to
haven't really.
to do yet. Yeah. And then you've also got to take into consideration when you do pick the songs that you've got on the EP, it's in what order they'll appear on your album, because
Yes, exactly.
yeah, because I mean, there's a couple of songs where I've got the same chord progressions, probably different rhythm, stuff like that, but they sound very similar. And I didn't realise that till recently, listening to them. With my partner Jess, we were just sit there watching them, and she was the one that mentioned that you could do something a bit different. You could change it up a little bit, you know.
Yes.
And my first reaction was to get a bit defensive. It was like, wait, hold up.
Yes.
But I mean, and she's not a musician, so I mean, and that's. I gave it a bit more thought and thought that people that aren't musicians are people that you probably want to listen to their input a little bit more, because they're the ones that are listening to it. Whereas if you listen to advice from other musicians, which is great at times, but if you listen too much to it, like you tend to forget that the audience in which you're writing for. So
because you're not classically trained, you're just
I'm
self-taught.
all self-taught. Yeah. I don't even know if what I'm playing is chords. It just sounds cool to me, you know. Like,
so you've just done it like that yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of music. I was probably one of those guys that would go to a gig and I'd see a good band or something, and I'd get off stage and I'd hang off of them for the rest of the night, going, "You're amazing. You guys are great. You guys are like," and to the point where they're getting so annoyed, just going, "Mate, just give us some room to breathe," you know, like. And then becoming a musician, I sort of understand that aspect of it, because once you get off stage, everybody wants to be seen with you, around you, and talk to you, and you know, and for me, I like to have like a good 15 minutes once I get off stage, sort of compute in my head exactly what it is that I've done and stuff like that. But I mean, that comes part and parcel with the industry itself and with the job. Like you know,
It comes with fame.
Well, yeah. I haven't got to that level yet, but
one never knows.
Well, that's right. Yeah, hopefully. But I mean, I like to. I mean, there's been times I got off stage, and you know that your show's not been your best. You haven't, like anything with sport or anything. You have your good days, your bad days. So you're sort of a bit down about it when you get off stage, but you've got a couple of intoxicated people to pat you on the butt saying how great you are, and you sit there going, "Are you for real right now? Like you get the same show I just put on."
Well, put it this way: if people didn't like it, they'd walk out.
Well, that's right.
You know when somebody doesn't like something.
Yeah, I mean, audiences, they can be really tough.
Yeah,
they can be really grueling.
Like being a musician, being acoustic like you are, you could probably read that audience by now.
Yeah, you do. You with the more experience that you do playing live in front of audiences, you are able to sort of pick up on the energy and vibe of the room and know how to adjust accordingly. But I mean, in the beginning, it wasn't always like that.
That's right. That comes with experience.
I'm lucky. I'm probably the only musician that I know that hasn't been booed off a stage yet. But that, touch wood, that that could happen at any time. But yeah, I think my dad was a musician. He always used to talk to me about when it comes to performing live. He said, never underestimate your audience. Like,
yes, exactly.
They may not have the knowledge of the music and how to create it, how to make it. And perform it, but these are the people that keep you in business pretty much.
And I find you very honest about yourself. You know, you are honest about who you are, how you play, what you do. You know, you're not classically, as you say, trained. You're self-taught. You're doing it all yourself as you go along. Yeah. And you're very honest about that. I
pride myself on being as honest as I possibly can. Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I was I would not offer information up like that in the beginning because it was a bit. I'd get very nervous. I'd go to a show or a performance. I'd get on stage and I'd do my thing, and I get so worried about because I'm not classically trained or formally trained in any way. That talking to other musicians after a show that they would catch on pretty quickly that you're not educated at all, that sort of thing. So that really it did. Played big on me in the beginning, but as I took a New Year's resolution one year and this year I'm going to learn to network a little bit more, and interact with the audience and other musicians in which you perform with, because that was something that I found very difficult to do. Like, so I'd get on stage, do my show, and then as soon as I get off, I'm out the back door and I'd go home, just because I was always scared of hearing bad feedback but also being caught out that you're new to it
but there are big mega bands out there who that have done big concerts, and I know people that have been to them and said, I wish I hadn't paid to go and see that. That there's good and there's bad in every artist, and
it's funny you just say that. It's just remind me, I've only got one concert that I went to that had made me feel that way, and I love the guy. I Bob Dylan, beautiful songwriter, great songwriter, poet, all that stuff. I mean, he hasn't got the greatest voice, but
that's right.
But I mean, you don't. He makes it work for him.
That's right. That's right.
Thing is with Bob Dylan, it depends on what mood he's in, depending on what you're going to receive. And I remember paying nearly $200 ticket to go see him play at the entertainment centre once. And I think I got about fourth song in, and I just said, bugger this, I'm going. I left, I walked out, left my mate sitting in the seat, and I went across the road to the Gov, and there was a guy actually playing at the Gov. Right, and he was like it was actually, is it AP?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, AP was there. This is like earlier on, even before I was a musician. Yeah. He was performing all of Bob Dylan's hits.
Yes, I know, he's so good.
Yeah, and I was sitting there listening to it, and I was so amazed. He sounded more like Bob Dylan than Bob Dylan did. Yeah. Because Bob Dylan came out on stage and he had like this jazz sort of setup thing going on. He had a piano facing the side of the stage, not even to the audience, and performed it. I didn't recognise one song. That's why I walked out and I went over it. And so basically say I paid $200 to go and watch AP perform Bob Dylan numbers, which it was, if that was the case, it was well worth it.
Yeah, and I do ask the artists that I speak to, especially people like Ross Wilson and Little River Band and all those guys, they do go to do concerts and they do play their new stuff, but he said people like our classics too. You've got to play the classics because that's what they come to hear, you know.
I had some friends talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers recently came over to Melbourne, I believe, and did a concert there, and they've got a couple of new albums out since,
yeah, they have.
So and I'm not really familiar with the new material that
That's
they've come
right.
out with.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of disappointment in the fact
Yeah.
that they were playing. They didn't play a lot of their old hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand it from a musician's point of view that you want to like invest yourself in and
Yeah.
promote your new material,
That's
like
right.
rather
That's right.
because I mean you do get sick of playing the same songs night in, night
Yeah.
out, So and you don't want to look too much in the past. So yeah, you're trying to do something for now in the present. So I understand that point of view. But when you've got a big band like that coming over from overseas and don't come over very often, you would have thought they probably would have put a bit more of their older hits into it. But
It's like the Stones, you know, they've done quite a few new songs, which are quite bluesy tracks, which, you know, I don't mind. I've got some of them on my playlist. But people go there to see them do, you know, what they did in the 70s, 60s, 70s. That's what they really want to go back. We're from that generation that we want to see that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, yeah. I mean, going to see Bob Dylan, I wanted to hear "Blowing in the Wind," "Masters of War," and all that sort of stuff. And
and it's just
well, we were listening to those songs, but they were just in a complete different arrangement than what you normally. So you think of those songs like in the way that they come out in the album, folky, sort of, you know, raw. And then now we're listening to them in a jazz sort of. And jazz is a genre of music that I'm not really. I've never been able to take into it. It's like, for me, it's like a bunch of great musicians purposely playing out of tune at a time with each other. Like, but you know, and I'm not knocking the jazz genre at all. I think they're great on what they do.
There are some awesome jazz
and how they do what they do has got me blown. But it's so busy and so much going on in one song with a jazz song that I can't pick it. Yeah.
I was at the Susie Quattro concert, and this wasn't, you know, this was a few years back, not too long ago. But she had a new album out, which she was promoting, and she did do some new stuff. But then there was a half break, you know, time, and we all went off to get a drink and whatnot. And you know, I could overhear people saying, "I hope she's going to be playing some of the old stuff because I didn't come here to listen to that new stuff." And I could hear them talking amongst themselves, you know, a lot of other women and guys as well. And sure enough, the second half, she did a lot of her older tracks that everybody was just, you know, so she kind of did half and half to promote.
Well, that's a good way to do it. Yeah. I mean, that's right. Like,
you've got new music, you've got to get it out there.
Yeah, and I actually saw that you had Susie Quattro. It was on this program not long ago, actually.
Yeah.
No, that's the shit. Or her and her team must have had structured that really well. Then to be able to perform all the newer stuff early, and then finish off big with some of the older stuff. It would have left all their audience going home with smiles on their faces.
But you see what happens when you put things out on YouTube, like, you know, you've seen Sing It Live on YouTube.
I've just recently saw that probably about 2 days ago. I think
well, this is what happens if you know, do that, and you see what they do. They're just a bunch of musicians.
That's like done in Adelaide, like
I went to their very first live concert. At the Royal Theatre in the city, just a week before I left, you know, to go away. And they did amazingly. They're just a bunch of Adelaide artists,
and they've been getting recognition for it too.
They are absolutely getting a ton of recognition. And same as the Harney Street Country Club. I went and saw their very first concert as well. At the Thebby Theatre, and look at, they've got millions. They're travelling all right. They've got a record deal.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I saw them on the news, I think.
They were on Sunrise.
Sunrise, early morning. I got up and I saw them on there, and I thought, that's great. Because I'm all for local musicians.
Because I've interviewed them, so and I mean, it's amazing. So it just goes to show you, if you keep plugging away.
That's right. You know, I mean, you
never know who's going to see it.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And you're going to do us another song?
Yeah, for sure. Next song I'll play for you is a song I wrote a while back called "Best of Me." It's a song, again, it's an older song of mine, but it's I haven't performed it here on the station before.
Okay.
So and it goes a little something like this.
Well done, guys.
Thank you. It's a little bit rusty. I'm going over these songs now, and I realise that I've got to put some more rehearsal time in, I think.
Oh, look, doing it live is hard too.
It is.
When you're doing it just off the bat like that.
And I'm doing it with the pressure of knowing that you're on air and that
Exactly.
you're being beamed into a lot of cars and lounge rooms or whatever.
Well, you never know who's listening.
That's
so
right.
There you go. When you first learned how to play, how did you learn? Did you watch other people? Did you do it off YouTube book? What?
Well, the first time, I had a mate of mine that I worked with at the time who was getting lessons, and he left his paperwork around home. And it started out whereas I thought to myself, when he left it there, I had my dad's old guitar sitting in the corner. And it just started out as thinking that I'll practice it, what I got from his paperwork. And so that when he comes around next, I can show him that spin him out and say, oh, look what I've learned from your paperwork, man, and be better than him. And but it was when I first started learning, a lot of it was I think YouTube at that time was a bit of a new thing, so it wasn't like you could just go on like you can now and get lessons off of YouTube or anything like that. It was basically the first time I ever learned was a Bob Dylan song, Blowing in the Wind. And I remember being in Allen's Music in the city, and I sat in there for about an hour and a half. They had these books, they're little black books, acoustic songs for dummies and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I went in there, and I didn't know what chords were or anything like that as such, but I had an encyclopedia at home, sort of thing. I call it my encyclopedia of chords, where it tells you where to put your fingers and stuff. But so I sat there in the music store after looking at some instruments, and I just memorised the chord patterns.
Yes.
So I would sit there memorising, G, C, D, G, C, D, G, and I remember getting on the bus and on the way home just having it repeating in my head over and over and over again. And when I got home, I wrote the chord pattern out and then looked it up in my encyclopedia and sort of matched it that way. And then I remember getting really frustrated because I couldn't sound anything like it did on the radio, But that's basically how I learned. I'd go to gigs and I would see, if I saw a band or a musician that was playing a chord that I thought sounded sexy, sounded cool. I would try and memorise exactly where he put his fingers, and I'd go home and I'd practice it. So that's basically how it came about. But other than that, it was just nutting it out at home and just repetition. That's the thing with music, is everything comes to repetition. So I feel sorry for the people that were living with me at the time, because they would have done their head in something chronic and I wasn't any good either at the beginning, so it's just playing those same chords over and over and over and over again.
I learned just by watching other people too, and the first song I ever learnt was Hey Joe, Jimi Hendrix.
That's a cool song to sort of learn.
And I did it repetitively. Like drove my family insane.
I think it does that. I think anybody, any musician that has nutted out and started, even getting the smallest amount of gigs and stuff like that, they've got some good family, good friends around them, because
because to come from where you were and to be actually gigging, and in front of a live audience, I've never done that in my life, but I did it just for fun, learned. But that would, you've really come a long way. So
I never thought that when I first started learning that I would ever be able to perform in front of an audience or anything. If anything, I thought it'd be cool to be able to pull out the guitar around the bonfire camp and try and impress a chick or something like that. And I thought, this would be cool, with one song. But I never ever stuck at it with the ambition of being a performer or a musician or anything like that. So and everything that's came along since then it's just been a lucky right place, right time. And you get out what you put in. So
and you've done some gigs at the Gov, haven't you? And that's a great little venue too.
It is. I've been lucky enough to I've played in the front bar there quite often in the past, and it's a great venue. But I've also been lucky enough to play on the main stage there on numerous occasions, which has been great. The sound there is unbelievable. It is. And the audiences that I've been able to perform in front of have been great, along with the musicians that I've got to share the stage with. So I learn a lot off of them as well. I look back at it now and I think, I don't know how I got through it. I should have been a lot more nervous than what I was or something like that.
It's amazing how you react to certain things when the
Yeah.
time comes.
Yeah, when the time comes, you're not really giving.
If you overthink things, you're going to make yourself worse.
Exactly
You
right.
don't do that. You go in there, give it your all.
And I think in those situations, I'm more of a fan than I am. Like I forget that I'm even performing there. Like some of those, I'll see some other musicians that I either haven't got to catch before ever, or friends or acquaintances, and I sit there and I get so caught up with their. The next thing you know, you've got like somebody coming up and go like, "You're on in about 15 minutes, mate," and you're just like, "Wait, what?" Yeah. So I go with. I enjoy every show, and I try to treat every show like it's the last.
Yeah.
Like, because you never know. Like, tomorrow's never promised to any of us.
No, that's true. That's true.
I
spoke to Tex Perkins not long ago, and I got some tickets to go and see him at the Gov. You know.
Yeah.
He was really great, but he's a
Tex
really
Perkins.
He's a really funny guy.
It's funny, when I first started doing the musician thing, I'd hit this open mic night down at the Seacliff Hotel back then, and I had long hair. Yep. It was probably because I was too busy spending money on other things other than a barber. But I used to get off stage and everyone used to go like, "You look like Tex Perkins. Did anybody tell you look like Tex?" And I used to hear it. So I didn't even know who this Tex Perkins was, right? Not at the time. And I was sitting there, I've heard the name, but I was like, I used to tell everybody, "No, I don't look like Tex Perkins. Tex Perkins looks like me, mate." You know. But then I've since looked him up and stuff like that. I've seen his Johnny Cash show and stuff like that, and he's really cool. Like,
he's very cool.
But really I had known some of his stuff from earlier on, like
the Cruel Sea.
And it just tripped me out. And I still can't see the resemblance between him and I, though. Like, as far as our looks are concerned.
Maybe when you had longer hair, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
But I did an interview with him, and he's big square.
Is he?
Yeah. Luckily, it was a pre-recorded.
See, that's funny you say that because
because you've got to watch.
Oh yeah, here I've listened to playbacks of when I've done radio segments, and I feel.
And that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, but I think I sound like such a douche because I'm too busy watching my P's and Q's and everything like that. Like, but any other time, I'll probably cuss like a
a lot of us do. But I think when you're in front of the microphone, you realise that you do have listeners out there.
That's right. Yeah.
And
you subconsciously adapt to it, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you've got another song for us that you
I do. Well, I want to take a moment to just give a shout out to good friends and my neighbours. Jeff and Ingrid. Jeff yesterday, unfortunately, lost his battle with cancer. He was good, man. He was supposed to tune in for today. I said I was going to give him a bit of a shout out, and he was looking forward to it. But it hurts me to say that, he can't. But I'm going to stick to my promise to him and his partner Ingrid. And I know Ingrid's going through a bit of a rough time at the moment. So this is a song I have not performed in front of or in public before. So I hope I get through it all right. But this is sort of out of thought of him. It wasn't written about him, obviously, but
just a dedication.
Just a bit of a dedication. That's the best way to describe it. But so this is for Jeff and Ingrid, and keep your chin up, Ingrid. Things will get better. So it goes a little something like this. You living life so bold, had childlike life and wisdom made of gold. You treat life like found gold, saw the good in all, can't be bought or sold. Can't Now there's a dark untold, an unfortunate twist I can leave it feeling cold. And there's no words get sold to explain the void left by friends we've known. So lest we forget the life you lived and the love that you left. When the angels around heaven, well I know everything will be alright. Holy Ghost with words of wisdom will guide us all from darkness into light. Well, I know everything will be alright. Holy Ghost with words of wisdom will guide your soul from darkness into light.
Oh, lovely words to that song, isn't there?
Thank you. Yeah. That's something I wrote a while back. It was conversation with a young family member at the time that was about to start high school, and we were discussing about what she was in for when hitting high school, when it came to you know, I don't know, the things that the bad influences of life, drugs, alcohol, and all that sort of stuff, and not to be influenced too much. And like, if you don't want to do things, then there's no problem with saying no, I don't want to do it. But then also trying to be as accepting as possible for other people's choices, but just trying to guide them. And I was talking about some of the friends and stuff that I've lost due to silly decision making growing up. And I thought I'd try and write a song about it because it played on my mind for that week. And I thought, instead of writing a song for one specific person that you've lost in your life, like that was supposed to be a sort of an arrangement that I thought for all of the people that I've lost, you know. And I don't know if I still managed to get across that message in the song itself.
Well, I was listening to the words and I can hear them very clearly through my headphones, and they're very they are great words, you know. So it is coming across the way you probably wanted it to. But you're just probably not hearing it yourself. You're busy doing and singing, and I'm listening, so I can hear the words.
I mean, sometimes there's so much more you want to say, especially when it comes to a song. You've got so much to say in a 3 minute, 4 minute sort of period, and you're not going to be able to get everything in to get that message across.
You've just got to condense it down to the best part that you can.
That's
to
right.
Make it, to put that point across,
and still have it sort of listenable for people that are tuning into it. So, but hopefully that does come across the way it was intended.
Yeah, it was lovely. But we're going to have to leave it there, boys, because it's getting on. It's 25 minutes after 2 o'clock. You are on PBA FM 89.7. And I have Sam with me and Waylon Scott, and he's been performing some live songs for us, which is absolutely fantastic. We love a local artist right here in South Australia.
I love being here. It's been great, and I love coming to speak to you, Zofia. It's always a pleasure. Yeah,
it's been a while because, as you say, we all go through things, and we have to pull through and start, get back out, get our lives back on track.
Well, that's right. When normal things are happening through life, they've got to take your attention.
Sometimes you feel like you need to, just take a little break and hide away a little while, and then when you're ready, you come out like a flower opening up and you know, bad experiences.
I love that analogy. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'll be the flower opening up now.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Sam?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is, because you've got your dark times and your good times. So, where can people find you? Where can they see you? You haven't got anything on Spotify.
I haven't got any gig dates booked at this point in time. But I'll be looking into that over the coming weeks. I have been busy with working back in hospitality, and hospitality and the music industry sort of run parallel with each other, so it's made it quite difficult. So I'm going to have to do some time management and juggling there and work out exactly how I'm going to go with it. But this time around, I feel like I've gotten a bit of a second chance to do this music thing. So I want to try and do things I didn't do before and apply myself a little bit better.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel.
Excellent.
I think there's 2 on there, Waylon Scott and Waylon Scott Musician. So yeah, feel free to look that up.
And put some more on there, even if it's acoustic stuff. You
Will
know,
do.
just get your phone out and do it acoustically and get as many. You know,
I'm definitely going to be doing that after hearing what you've told me in
absolutely.
the session. So
Yeah.
So we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, all the socials. So
just look up that and you can see what. And if you do have any gigs, you'll put them up on your post
Exactly,
on your Facebook page and things like that, so people can see and you know go and see you and see you perform live. You know,
that'll be great. So, the more the merrier.
Yeah, be great. So and Sam will be with you.
Well, hopefully Sam will be with me.
Yeah.
If he hasn't got sick of me by then.
See how long that lasts, shall we?
It's probably been a bit hard for Sam. I haven't had a percussionist back me with any of my music in the past, so this has been a bit of a new avenue for me, and I feel for him a bit, like when I start songs. But
it does bring in different dynamic to the music.
It does. It gives it a bit more depth, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds really, really great. You know, rather than just your guitar, which you were here with last time, which was great.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got that, as you say, it changes the dynamics. The more you've got in there, you know, you could have the drums, you could have the bass, you could have the horns. It changes the whole.
That's
scene,
right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, like I said, I was looking forward to hopefully having Tim on bass, Sealy, come and join us today, because I'm really excited to see what things would sound like with Sam, Tim, and myself.
Well, you'll have to get together in another.
I mean, I haven't seen Tim for a little while, and that's been more my fault than anything else. I've been busy with other things as well, and